Longmei Beach, named after a village nearby, is a mudflat of around 200 meters that locates in Tengkok, Taipo. Besides as a leisure ground for local residents, Longmei Beach is also a weekend attraction to families and those interested in marine life. The beach has a variety of intertidal organisms, from the less mobile whales, starfish, to the more energetic mud skippers, hermit crabs, and crabs. Yet, all of these vibrant activities will soon be gone because the nature has been defeated in a battle that lasted for 16 years. It all began in 1998 with the formal proposal of a public bathing beach development at Longmei by the Taipo District Council. The project was placed away from spotlight until the chief executive in 2005 listed it as one of the 25 leisure and cultural service projects recommended for priority implementation. In 2007, however, the project was severely criticized because of its substantial underestimation in biodiversity and overestimation in water quality. Despite doubts casted over its necessity and appropriateness, in 2008, the project was given green light by the Advisory Council on Environment in approval of the much-debated environmental impact assessment. Conservation efforts that intensified through campaigns, protests, alternative proposals, and even lawsuits. Nevertheless, during this summer, the High Court had held valid the original ruling of the court. Thus, the artificial beach in Longmei would soon be completed for use by next year had it not been delayed. While 16 years might not be considered as a long wait to implement a controversial project of this kind, Longmei Artificial Beach is in fact of a much smaller scale when compared to similar projects that seek balance between conservation and development. Shouldn't it then involve less stakeholders and exert less influence? And what are the incentives to the long endeavor over such a small piece of land? Much interested in the hostility and the long duration of the planning process in Longmei, I then put forward a research question as why such persistence to struggle arise, and why does it sustain over the years among stakeholders? The hypothesis was decided to be a lack of trust and chance to negotiate. Interview has been chosen as the only research methodology. A total of 3 representatives of the government, professional, and environmental activists were respectively talked to. The first interviewee is Dr. Lau Chi-Seng, the district councillor of Xunwan, who speaks on behalf of the government and the local residents. He suggested that the sustained local persistence was a result of the project as a restoration to the original landscape, a high local demand for a beach in vicinity since the 1970s, as well as the project's supporting role to local economic growth. As to understand the professional and technical stance, Dr. Kenneth Tang, a current teaching instructor at Department of Urban Planning and Design, HKU, was also interviewed. Based on his previous working experience in Taipo District between the year 2002 to 2008, Dr. Tang concluded that the cause of prolongation was the rather long time to reach consensus between different government departments, as well as a lack of public confidence in the government. Last but not the least, Ms. Heidi Zhang shared her views as a representative of Expo Longmei, the umbrella group for non-profit organizations in support of the area's preservation. Ms. Zhang maintained that the group is acting out of environmental and social justice. They questioned the identity of real beneficiaries of the project and hoped that government could review flaws in planning procedures, especially those environmentally related. Having understood the different incentives to strive, the fundamental causes of struggle in Long May Artificial Beach are then generalized. The primary reason found is the distinction in foundational understanding. Regarding the natural landscape of Long May Beach, for instance, Dr. Lau asserted that the area was a sandy beach back in the 1960s, which had attracted at least 1,000 people to swim in during weekend. In stark contrast, Ms. Zheng claimed that a satellite photo taken in 1950s had geologically identified the area as a mudflat. Another example is the different interpretation of consultation. While Dr. Lau and Dr. Tang agree that it is a collection of opinions for consideration, Ms. Zheng held that certain of the opinions should be incorporated in the final plan. The second reason developed is a contrast in emphasis. In terms of focus of interest, Dr. Lau is rather human-centric. He argued for the project based on the economic and recreational benefits it brought to Hong Kong citizens and seldom addressed the need to protect the environment. Dr. Tang, however, stressed the need to plan for all and to plan feasibly. Therefore, during his involvement in Long May as a government planner, Dr. Tang has raised reservation about the project's technicality and ecological friendliness and asked for explanation from parties responsible. On the other hand, Ms. Zheng contends that human and nature are equal. Any disruption to the ecological cycle would incur irrecoverable loss that affects future generations, if not the present. The Alliance Equal Pool alternative should thus be taken into account more seriously as a re-establishment of balance between conservation and development. The third cause of struggle, as suggested by Dr. Tang, is the increase in political awareness. Under the advancement in technology, more people now find it easy to reflect their views to the government. It is this desire to speak out that transform differences in understanding and emphasis into actions of struggle. Rather than a lack of trust and chance to negotiate, the result found a strong difference in demand, perspective of thought, and expectation as the more essential cause to the persistence of struggle. Given that each group of stakeholders have principles and beliefs that they closely follow or attach to, it is difficult for them to solve this intrinsic dispute in short term. Evidence then have to be collected in support of their own arguments, but not out of distrust of the government. Opportunities to negotiate, according to the interviewees, are in fact sufficient in amount, and yet the extent to which opinions are incorporated depends. While the curtain has been dropped in the 16-year battle over Long May Artificial Beach, it will always serve as a reference point to disputes between ecological conservation and urban development in Hong Kong. The project does not only allow the public to rethink about the value of nature, but does it also invite the government to review the risk of bureaucracy in policy making? If opinions are made constructively and taken seriously, the divergence in views, after all, shall contribute to the betterment of society.